Well, speaking of Apple, obviously they they had their the biggest announcement that they usually have during the year, their September one, where they announced the new iPhones. iPhone 13 came out in its various formats. Apple Watch 7, a couple of new iPads, etc. I think the overall response to it was a bit anemic. I think I don't know what people expect these days because, they're not going to be gargantuan updates anymore with massive leaps forward. It's always going to be like evolutionary and incremental.
Yeah.
While it's called the iPhone 13, it's probably better to call it the iPhone 12s, really, if you have a look at it. But, there's nothing in the iPhone 13 for me because I've obviously got a 12 Pro Max, so there's nothing that I need to do for a while yet. Still found that the improvements there were quite good. I thought the battery life improvements across all the models was quite interesting. And the only real product that really caught my attention was the new iPad Mini because it's adopted the iPad Pro sort of design language, and to me it seems like a much more useful tablet, and the fact that it's small is really helpful as well. So I don't, maybe the tech enthusiasts were not that happy, but I guess if you're upgrading from a phone that's 3 or 4 years old, like an iPhone from 2017 or something, these are big upgrades.
Well, they are, and especially if you've got a phone like mine, which is technologically 10 years behind the iPhone 13. So. Look, from my perspective, I was thinking maybe pick up an iPhone 12 a little bit cheaper, but I think I'd just go the iPhone 13 because the features are a huge jump forward. And as you say, I think they're probably better balanced than in the 12 overall. So, too bad. I'll go with that. Don't really care much for the Apple Watch, and I've still got an iPad 3. I've also got, I think, an iPad 6. I'm not sure, but, So, they look good too. Very disappointed there was no MacBook release, but I guess we'll wait for another 4 weeks and they'll pop that out. But you're right about the anemic response and what do we expect? And the only thing that I could think is, even though that I don't think either of us have been particularly impressed by the Galaxy Fold, you can see why Samsung do it, just so there's something to talk about.
Exactly.
Besides a camera with, zero point 0.1 megapixel more and, the ability to, blur out the background in cinematic mode. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say the Series 7 Apple Watch actually caused a stir because apparently someone looked into the specs and it turned out that it's still using the same chip as last year. And the rumor was that the big redesign of the Apple Watch was meant to happen this year, but they had some sort of production issues or whatever to roll them out. So we might get them next year. I don't really care because have never owned one. It's never interested me. It's not something that I'd pay for, but obviously a lot of people are upset because they are into it.
Look, I get it. And while we're on, causing a stir, Apple could have caused a stir just by coming out and saying that they were upping all the memory in the iPhone 13 to 128. That's one of the most generous things Apple's ever done.
So that's what I mean. It's like those small things between that and the big extensions in battery life. I think that's the thing that really will help people.
They're the sorts of things that make me want to buy the 13 over the 12. I don't care about how many more megapixel, the cinematic mode. I don't care about that it uses a 5G that doesn't work with the Australian fast 5G. I don't care about any of those things. I want longer battery life and more memory for free.
Absolutely. Well, like you, I'm actually more interested in what they announce in terms of the MacBooks, which hopefully sometime in October they'll run another event and go through that. So I'm a bit more keen to see what that is, and I'm sure we'll cover it when the time comes.